Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're diving into something huge, something that's changing everything, artificial intelligence. But we're going to look at it from an angle you probably haven't thought about before, as the new engine of a modern empire. I mean, it all boils down to this one question, doesn't it? This is the headline that stops you scrolling, the thing that maybe keeps you up at night. It's a really simple question, but the answer? Well, it's anything but. And hey, a quick shout out to our friends over at NotyourAdvisor.com for sparking this whole explainer. To really dig in and find some answers, we're going to lean on the incredible work of AI accountability journalist Karen Howe. Her Substack gives us this amazing framework to understand what is really going on here. Okay, so when it comes to AI, Karen Howe says most of us kind of fall into one of three buckets. You've got your optimists who see this techno-utopia coming, then you have the skeptics who are basically bracing for the apocalypse, and of course the haters who just think the whole thing is way overblown.
But how? She puts herself in a totally different camp, the AI accountability camp. And the whole point of this camp isn't to argue if AI is good or bad. No, it's about looking at the absolutely staggering amount of power. We're talking economic and political power that just a handful of these companies now have.
And when you see that level of concentrated power, you have to start thinking differently. Harrell argues that we need to stop looking at these companies as, well, just companies. We need to start seeing them for what they're actually becoming, modern-day empires. So what does she mean, AI as empire? Well, it's a framework that shows how these companies are acting just like the empires of old. It's a system that's literally built on taking resources, using up cheap labor, and then wrapping the whole thing up in this really noble-sounding mission. And look, this isn't just some clever comparison. It's a playbook. Step 1, claim the resources. That's our data, our art, our writing. Then just rewrite the rules and call it fair use. Step 2, exploit labor. From underpaid workers around the globe to, yes, building the machines that automate jobs. Step 3, frame the whole thing as this high-stakes race where they have to win to save us from some evil other empire. And finally, Step 4, justify it all with this grand vision of benefiting all of humanity. And if you think that's just critics being dramatic, listen to this. The leaders themselves use this exact language. The ambition here isn't just to make a cool product. It's to build an entire world order. But here's the thing you have to remember about empires. Whether they're digital or historical, they're always built on sacrifice. And the people making that sacrifice, they're never the ones at the top. It's happening in places and to people that are meant to be kept completely invisible. Just think about it for a second. For a tool like ChatGPT to be safe enough for us to use, to be commercially viable, it has to be scrubbed clean of all the worst, most toxic stuff on the internet. So, who do you think does that scrubbing?
Well, a lot of that work happens in places like Kenya, which has become this sort of content moderation hub for the Western world. OpenAI hired contractors there for very little pay to read and label just the most unimaginable things. We're talking graphic violence, hate speech, child sexual abuse material.
Karen Howe tells the story of one of these workers, a man named Moat Akin, and the work just destroyed him psychologically. He was on the team that handled sexual content, and the constant exposure to that horror, day in and day out, it completely changed who he was. This isn't some abstract cost of doing business. It is real human devastation. Moat Akin lost his family. His wife left him because the job he was doing, a job he couldn't even explain to her, had damaged him so profoundly. The clean, simple, helpful AI on your screen is built on the psychological wreckage of people in these sacrifice zones. So when you hear all this, it's pretty easy to just feel completely powerless, right? I mean, the tech leaders, they love to talk about this stuff as if it's an unstoppable force of nature, like it's some kind of technological destiny that we just have to sit back and accept. But Howe says, wait a minute, that's the oldest trick in the imperial playbook. Making an empire feel inevitable is a huge part of its power. But the truth is, just like every single empire throughout history, these new AI empires have huge fundamental weaknesses. They're not nearly as strong as they want you to think they are. So where are the cracks? Where are the pressure points? Well, for one, they are completely dependent on our data to train their models. They need huge amounts of land, energy, and water for their data centers. They absolutely need human labor to clean things up. They need the best researchers to even build the tech. And at the end of the day, they need us, the consumers, to buy into it all. Every single one of those dependencies is a place where we, the public, actually have leverage. So
If this imperial future isn't a done deal, what's the alternative? What would a better, a more democratic AI future even look like?
Well, a big piece of the puzzle, House says, is shifting what we're trying to build. Instead of pouring all this money and talent into these giant everything machines, which, by the way, are often biased and impossible to fully test, what if we built precision tools? Think of AI designed for one specific thing, like helping discover new medicines or making our energy grids more efficient. AI that actually serves a clear, testable human need, not just the goal of grabbing more data and power.
And you know what? This isn't just a nice idea. It's already happening. People are pushing back right now. You've got artists who are actively poisoning their own art so AI models can't learn from it. The Hollywood writers' strike literally put guardrails on how AI can be used in a massive industry. Communities are fighting against data centers that suck up all their water and energy. From parents and teachers to workers on the factory floor, people are standing up and demanding a say.
And this really is the core takeaway from Karen Howe's whole framework. The path forward isn't about waiting for some benevolent tech CEO to do the right thing or for government to slowly catch up. It's about distributed, democratic action. It's about everyday people, artists, parents, workers, all of us, recognizing the power we have and using it at every single weak point of the empire.
Which brings us right back to where we started. Maybe the question we should be asking isn't just, will AI take my job? Maybe the much bigger, more important question is, how do we make sure this incredibly powerful technology is built to serve us, our communities, our values, our shared future, and not the other way around? And it turns out, the answer to that question, well, it's up to all of us.